This is George Dionne for KNAC.com, and I'm here with solo artist and actor KURT DEIMER. So it's good to catch up with you again, KURT. Last time we had spoken on my podcast about the Work Hard, Rock Hard tour. You were just about to head out with Phil X and share the stage with YNGWIE Malmsteen. How did everything go on the tour?
Oh, that went way better than we expected. I mean, to go out with YNGWIE, a shredder, and completely different show than what we present to our fans and to the audience. People were thanking us for being there. They were like, "Man, what a great night of rock and roll! We got to see this band with all these hooks and harmonies, and the way we Phil and I do music, and then YNGWIE comes out right after us and does his thing. It was, I think, a great night for everybody, and it really we converted fans left and right every city we went to. So very proud and happy for what we accomplished on that tour.
Well, you had told me that your main goal was to steal the show anytime that you play the stage. So this is your chance to brag. Did you steal the show?
Yeah. I had people. Here's an example. We played. I think what's it called? It was in St. Louis, the Casa Loma theater that's been around forever. Frank Sinatra's been there. All these people. The owners of it came up to me after our set and said, "You guys are going to be huge stars. You're a great band. I want you to come back and sign The Wall by Frank Sinatra." So that shows you, I'm very proud of that somebody would even put me in that same sentence, of an icon like that as a performer that came through there that was so huge. And when we go out there, George, we bring it, man. I mean, I'm a very calm, laid back dude, but when I get on stage and that intro's playing and I walk out and I see everybody's faces, it's game on, and we're bringing it, man. And Phil's bringing it. He's just being Phil, and I'm just being me, and our band's tight. And we got all the same guys still, and except we had to sub our bass player, Christian, who toured on the Jeff Tate and YNGWIE tour, had a little baby and family first with us, and he can't keep up with all the touring we have to do. So on our last tour, Christian had gotten COVID up in, I believe it was not New Hampshire, Connecticut, and missed a week. But our merch guy, Brendan Hengel, who had played in Trapped and is multi-instrumentalist, we had one day off. He picked up the bass, played 4 shows, and now he's our full-time bass player. So pretty incredible.
Now you got a rock and roll movie in the making, kind of like Rockstar. Mild-mannered merch guy becomes rock and roll hero.
Yeah. I've got people coming at me wanting to do document. Well, I've got a documentary that I've done since our last interview with Norman Seeff, the iconic photographer. He had Phil X and I and Chris Lord-Alge and did a feature on KURT DEIMER, and we did a photo shoot and 3 hours of documentary. And he's the icon who did like the Tina Turner picture and a lot of the big Rolling Stone pictures of the past, Andy Warhol's, John Travolta. So Van Halen, Women and Children First. So very proud of that. It's kind of surreal, man. It's all happening so quickly, but we're working hard, and I guess hard work pays off. And Phil and I keep writing music, and wait till you hear this new full-length album that'll be coming out. So,
well, before we get to that, the last we talked, you had just released the song Hero, which is a fantastic single, but in June, you released the song My Dad, which was quite the tearjerker. I watched the music video, very emotional. It's a ballad, but not too ballady per se. It's a good tribute to your dad.
Yeah, I wrote that song a couple of years ago. I lost my dad in 2016, and he was like my biggest supporter, my hero. We thought it would be appropriate to put it out after Hero because I try to teach everybody we can all be heroes in that video. And I just thought on Father's Day, we had it right. Phil and Chris did their magic, and It was it had come very far from where it was in the beginning when I originally wrote it with my former writing partner. But those lyrics, of all the songs I've written, that's the one song where the lyrics that came out of my brain in like 10, 15 minutes one night at 2 a.m. on my patio looking up in the sky, they came out and they stayed exactly what came out for the final product of the song. So I'm very proud of that. And hopefully Dad's proud. And it's kind of got that, don't you think? It's got that little, it's got a mellow, it's the tearjerker vibe, but it's a little Zeppelin-y. It's got a little Zeppelin-y feel, and it just starts a little slow and kicks in, and you just want to rock out to it. But hopefully the message resonates and helps people who have lost their dad, their mom, a sibling. I've lost a sibling too, my only sibling. I lost her before my dad, or a best friend or anything. It's one of those songs, I think, that can touch a lot of lives if we keep sharing it around the world. So
now, do you have children yourself that you can kind of pass on the ideals and the stuff that your dad taught you?
I have 3 boys.
Okay.
I have a 27-year-old, 26-year-old, and a 16-year-old, and same mom, and all boys.
Awesome. What were you trying for a girl? Is that what it was?
No, Cullen's my oldest, Luke's my middle, and then my ex-wife, one slipped past the goalie after a Halloween party, I think it was, but I'm not positive. So, but yeah, no, she wasn't too happy about that. But look, we have a beautiful son, and he's great, and he is. I don't know what I'd do without him. He's one of my best friends in the world, and I'll take care of him the rest of my days, and always be with him. So, and his name's Will. He's a blessing. So.
Awesome. Are any of your kids getting into the music business like you are?
No, my oldest son is a computer programmer. He graduated from BU, lives in Boston, works for Wayfair. And my middle son, Luke, graduated from University of Cincinnati, and he did work with me a little bit as I was getting started before we changed my name for my other artist name. He was thinking about it, but then now he works for my oil company and my oil brand Starfire. And then my youngest son is still in high school playing soccer, and he loves music, but I don't know if he'll follow in my footsteps on them. But my kids are probably tripping that I ran all these businesses and created things on my own with nobody helping me, build them from scratch. And now here Dad's singing on stage in a rock band and then movies. So I'm sure it's a little much for their brains to handle, but hey, that's their dad. That's what I do. I'm teaching them them and hopefully a lot of people, you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish with hard work and passion. And we only live once, so go for it.
Absolutely. You're gearing up to head out on tour with Tesla in September. You're going to be heading through Texas, and you're going to stop in Louisiana. Is this the first time you'll be meeting the guys from Tesla?
Yes. It's never met anybody in Tesla. Very blessed that we get to continue playing, and it just seems like we get off a tour like we did with YNGWIE, and then being new, it's hard to especially with everything being rescheduled from 2020, to find something like a Tesla willing to bring us on, digging our vibe so we can play for their fans. And now we've got our fans that want to come out to the shows, and we continue to build that. So when that came about, it was a no-brainer. Yeah, well, we got to keep, the only way we're going to keep growing KURT DEIMER to be a headliner is to keep playing. And they were gracious enough to give us that slot in these shows. So can't wait to get back to Texas.
Now, the last time I had talked to you, Phil had said you may have a chance to meet YNGWIE on the tour, or you may not. So what was the outcome?
I'm the only one who met YNGWIE, and I met him after our last show in Fort Lauderdale, because he doesn't like to be bothered. He's who he is. He does things his way. You respect that. I'm just thankful he gave us the opportunity to open up right before him on the whole tour. And after that last show, I went in after his set was over, and we had a moment, and I thanked him. We hugged, we shook hands, we took pictures, and he said, "If you ever need somebody to fill in on guitar, I know all your tunes." He was very gracious and kind, but I respect what his rules are. I mean, I'm direct support, and I'm a very respectful person of the way people are, and we had that good moment, him and I together. So
I think he's a very misunderstood guy. I think he's very creative and very smart, and I think he kind of creates this aura around him too, that some people think that he's unapproachable, or some people think that he's this diabolical guy that doesn't like anybody in his band. But I think kind of the aura he creates is that of a rock star from when he grew up.
Right. Yeah. No, he was very gracious and kind to me when we had that conversation, and we never had any issues on the road. And his band were great people. We hung out a lot with them, and his tour manager was awesome. And we had nothing but a good experience on that whole tour. And, Yngwie is doing his job. That's how he does it. I mean, when I play, I have a routine I like to go through before I go on stage, and I'd like to have my space and do that. But I also spend time. Everybody's different, and Yngwie probably has his routine. He's got to go up there and shred for an hour and a half, 2 hours every night, so you respect that. So, yeah, I think a lot of it's misunderstanding, but we're all different.
So in addition to being a musician, you also done a bit of acting, and you just wrapped on kind of a pet project of yours called the HELLBILLY HOLLOW. You're wearing the t-shirt there, and I believe you produced and starred in this movie. So if you want to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I'm very proud of how this movie's turned out. You get the idea to shoot a film, you write the script, and I shot this in March of a couple years ago. But you don't, the magic in the movie is, number one, getting a great shot, a movie that's shot very well, and all the right shots and all the right sound. But then you got to take it and do post-production, and you've got to cut it and make the film flow and not have lulls in it. And we really took our time. My manager, Andy Gould, who helped Rob Zombie at the beginning with his movies and White Zombie and transforming into Rob Zombie, the solo artist, is my manager. And when he came on board with me in 2020, that's when I changed to KURT DEIMER. I'm an actor, and I am a frontman in our rock band, KURT DEIMER. So Andy said, we got to do some things. We're going to do post-production on this. And he hooked me up with a gentleman by the name of Glenn Garland, who edited a bunch of Rob Zombie stuff. And I'll tell you what, man, it went from night to day. I mean, the light just came on, and this movie is something to be very proud of. We already have people booking us for horror conventions. My character, Bull, and Tickles, the other character. And I think we're really on to something, and we've already got HELLBILLY HOLLOW 2 written, and we're just anxious to get it out, get it in theaters, get it on streaming, get it in front of people's eyes, because I think people need a couple new characters they can latch onto in the horror genre, and take them on a crazy trip for the next 10, 20 years. So that's where it's just beginning now. So
when is the movie expected to be released?
That's a good question, George. It's all up to, we want to get a good distribution partner. I don't want it to be distributed right. I don't want it just to go out and nobody sees it. So as soon as we find that partner, the buzz is built. Hopefully it could be out anytime in the next 6 months to a year is what I'm probably figuring.
Are you going to supply the soundtrack to the movie? Are you going to bring somebody in to score it, or has it already been scored?
No, thanks for asking. The score of the movie, like the sounds you hear, like what Danny Elfman does in movies and stuff, was done by my bro Roy Mayorga, who's the drummer of Stone Sour and Ministry. and Roy did a brilliant job on the score. And then the soundtrack, you'll have 7 Kurt Deimer songs, 3 of which nobody's heard. We play 1 live, and we'll probably be playing it live here the rest of the year. A song called Doom. And then there's 2 other new songs, Fight and Acidic Fizz. And then 4 that are off the Work Hard, Rock Hard EP of stuff you've already heard. So we've got 7 songs in the movie. Drowning Pool's got songs in the movie. And then another buddy of mine, I don't know if people remember the Y store from back in the day, WHY, but Chris Schaefer has a couple songs in there that are excellent for the movie. So there'll be a soundtrack and vinyl that comes out for it.
Well, you got to get out to these horror conventions. I actually went to one in Boston last week, the Silver Scream Con, and it was put on by Ice Nine Kills. And they had all the classic horror guys there. They had the guy that played Pinhead, Doug, I can't remember his last name. And they had Kane Hodder, that was Jason. They had the original Michael Myers, stuff like that. So now you're creating that character that people are going to kind of want to come out and meet.
Yeah. And I think the difference between us, like when I was in Halloween in 2018, and I was hanging out in the gas station, where I got killed by Michael Myers, with the new Michael Myers, James Jude Courtney. Him and I are good friends. And I was just sitting there and I'm like, I got to create an eye. I mean, I'm sitting there right next to him with his eye looking at me. And I got this prosthetic all over my face, and because my jaw's all screwed up, covered myself with a towel. And I'm like, I got to create these, but let's do 2 characters. So it's a brother. We're brothers. So I think Bull and Tickles are going to come out where people are going to be, instead of just, Jason or just Michael, Bull and Tickles, and we're a duo, a horror duo. And I think that's new and refreshing.
Absolutely.
And I'm very proud of, thinking outside the box. And I think people are really going to dig our vibe and how we interact and play off each other.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you are working on a full-length album. What can you tell me about that?
Well, I just got back from LA, excuse me. I was in the studio with Chris Lord-Alge and Phil X last week, and we've got probably 30 to 40 tunes in our pipeline so far in such a short period of time that could all be really good songs on an album, a CD, whatever, streaming. And we've got it down to where we want to do a full length. We're not going to do an EP again. We want to bring it out like the classics of the past, a rock album, vinyl, CD, put it everywhere to stream. And we've got the tunes. There's no filler top to bottom. It's kicking ass. And I think you're going to see Kurt Deimer and Phil X continuing to grow in how we write. And you're going to see a lot of, just a lot subtle changes, but it's going to be right in your face, and it's really it's really the right next step in our journey to become headliners and play all over the world. So we're really stoked about it. We're not going to rush it out, and we're just making sure it's right. And I would expect to see it probably sometime around February, because we're going to take our time the rest of the year, and we've got a lot of tour dates coming up.
Do you have something that you're touring on? Are you touring with somebody after the Tesla tour runs through?
Yeah, but they still haven't announced it, so I can't say anything yet. But yeah, we've got some cool stuff coming up. We're going to be touring through November, almost up to Thanksgiving. And we got a special, I think, Halloween show coming up. And yeah, we're going to stay pretty busy with quite a few shows. And we're going to hit some new areas in the U.S. It'll all be in the U.S. right now. Although we're getting lots of listeners in South America and Europe. And but when the timing's right, we'll head over to those areas as well. So.
Well, Kurt, it was great catching up with you. It's only been 4 months, but you still have a lot on your plate. You're out there killing it. You got the tour kicking off on September 9th in Dallas, Texas. You got your latest single, My Dad. You got the movie Hellbilly Hollow coming very soon. And It seems like you can't stop the Kurt Deimer train. Thank you for taking the time.
George, I'm not ever stopping, man. When you stop is when you fade away, and life becomes mundane. You know, I've got to be busy or I lose my mind. So I'm ready, and I hope everybody's enjoying everything. I know the album's going to kick ass. I know you're going to love the movie, and I can't wait to see everybody in Texas on the road here in about less than a week now, or right at a week, I guess, is the first night in Dallas. Yeah. How cool is that? Yeah. So,
well, I wish you nothing but the best, Kurt, and I appreciate you talking to me today and coming on the show. And I hope everybody gets a chance to check out and get to know KURT Deimer like I have over the last 4 or 5 months.
Well, you keep in touch, and anytime you want me on, you know I'm going to come on, and I appreciate you promoting and supporting and loving our projects. And without folks like you, we couldn't keep growing the way we are. And I really appreciate you, George.